Welcome back to Slaying the Backlog. I'm Jake, and if you haven't seen this channel before, the last video we played the first Assassin's Creed game, and I did a review on it. And so now we're gonna do the second Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed 2. And we're gonna do a little review, and we're gonna talk about it. So, um, I'm on a journey to play all the Assassin's Creed games I haven't played before, and so some of them we're gonna get the platinum or the 100% achievements, and some of them we probably won't. And if we do, we'll talk about it, and if we don't, we won't. So, that being said, Assassin's Creed 2, we did. So, let's hop into it. Before we talk about anything else, let's talk about gameplay. So, the gameplay of Assassin's Creed 2 is greatly improved upon the gameplay of Assassin's Creed 1, actually. The parkour has some new moves you didn't have before. The mission structure does get repetitive like it did in the first game, but it's not repetitive right away. So, like, you'll be introduced to a type of mission and then you won't really see that again for a little while. With the exception being following people around or escorting people to certain things. That's kind of annoying. Other than that, really it's pretty fresh all the way through, honestly. Assassin's Creed 2 is really good as far as pacing goes. There's some new mechanics that we didn't have before. So for example, there's a bunch of them. So you can um, drive boats. You can swim. Altair couldn't swim. Ezio could swim. There's this mechanic where when you're climbing, you can jump up and grab a ledge. You don't have it right away, but you unlock it later. But you can jump up and grab a ledge like higher than where you were on the ledge, which is really useful. Then there's things like there's poison, assassin's blade you get. There's pistol, which basically is just like so there's throwing knives in this game. If you guys watched my last video on Assassin's Creed, you'll know how I just throwing knife like everything. In this game, the throwing knife's not very good, so you'll throw it, but it won't do like maximum damage. It won't like kill him in one hit. So it takes like 2 throwing knives to kill a guard. This game has a pistol attachment that you get, and the pistol will kill in one hit. Now, the issue with the pistol is you have to charge it up and then let it go. I used it a few times. I actually assassinated a target with it at one point, but for the most part, not as good as the throwing knives. But it's this game's version, as far as I'm concerned, because the throwing knives in this game are useless. The poison's really cool because when you walk up and stab them, and it'll take a few seconds for them to like die. All in all, these new assassin mechanics are really cool. Actually, uh, you can assassinate people while hiding in bushes. I don't remember if that was in the first game. I don't think it was. So you'll be in a bush, and if they come up, you can stab them and then bring them into the bush, and so it'll hide the body. Speaking of hiding bodies, you could throw bodies into bushes just to hide them. And then there's new weapons. So there's an inventory system. So you have armor and weapons that you can buy and upgrade. And there's like hammers now. Um, and then you have different armor types. And then there's a few other mechanics like there are these assassin tombs that you go into where you have to do like different types of gameplay things that you would do normally, but like inside the tomb. So it would be like assassinating guards or just doing like parkour challenges. But then there's also some of them, which are my favorite ones, which are timed. So you'll pull a lever and this like pulley bar will drop down and you'll have to run through like an obstacle course before the bar goes back up. And at the end, you'll jump and grab the bar and pull it the rest of the way down. And that unlocks the next part of the tomb. Those ones were absolutely my favorite because you actually have to use that, that parkour that you've been practicing. There's not a lot of examples in Assassin's Creed 2 where you actually use the parkour for like an objective like that. Um, there are race missions where you have to race people. Those would use it. But other than that, you really don't use it at all. So that's a new mechanic. There's these codex pages, which are a collectible you have to get. That's how you actually unlock. You take them to Leonardo, and that's how you unlock the different upgrades to your Assassin's Blade. That's a requirement for the game. So it's not an optional collectible like the flags were in Assassin's Creed 1. The flag equivalent in Assassin's Creed 2 is actually the feathers. So that kicks off when your brother asks you to get him some feathers, and then you end up gathering them later for your mom, and she ends up making a cloak out of it. The auditory cape, actually. It's a cape, not a cloak. So that's the collectible in this game, and there's only 100 of them, I think. I think that's accurate. 100 feathers compared to like the 420 flags we had to get. Uh, and then there's these Subject 16 videos, which are these glyphs that you can only see in eagle vision. And so you will find them in different parts of the map, and then you'll do like a little puzzle sequence, which usually is not that hard. It's like finding an apple in a picture or, just random crap. It's really not that entertaining. But those give you different aspects of the Subject 16. That's the guy who went crazy before Ezio, or not Ezio, before Desmond. Um, that'll give you videos he left behind inside the Animus. And when you get them all together, it plays this pretty cool video. So I'll probably put it into the video here. You're probably watching it right now. As far as gameplay goes, I think that's probably all in all. I think the game was really good gameplay wise. I don't think it was difficult still. I don't think it required you to be stealthy enough. There are a few instances where it does, but they're definitely not forcing you to act like an assassin. Like you can just run in and guns blazing most of the targets in the game. Um, but I think we're heading in the right direction as far as that game goes, or as far as gameplay goes. I don't know. I know Brotherhood and Revelations are really good. I've already played those. I don't know about 3, so I'm excited to check out 3. I tried 3 once. I never got past the part where you're playing as, I think it's supposed to be the dude's dad who's actually the main character. I don't actually know the story on that one. So I'm excited to check out 3. But all right, so now we'll move on to
Right now, I need you to just shut up and do what I say. So please, get in the Animus.
the story of Assassin's Creed 2 is actually really good. So there again, there's the 2 timeline situation. You have the present and then you have the past, we'll say. The past being the Ezio storyline and the present being the Desmond storyline. Um, the Desmond storyline kicks off, you break out of Abstergo with Lucy, who breaks you out, and you get out, you go down this like elevator, and then you do a little sneaking section, you go down another elevator, and you take out some guards, and then you get shoved in the back of a vehicle, and she drives you to this hideout that she has with this guy named Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane, I think her name is. She's like the hacker chick. Sean's the historian. He's kind of a dickhead, to be honest. He's very rude all the time.
What a professional. What a professional approach.
Leave him alone.
Well,
But that's our team. Them, Lucy. Rebecca's got her own version of the Animus. It's called the Animus 2.0. Um, they kind of help you, guide you through what you're supposed to do, and that's your team there. And then you kick off Ezio's story as a baby. Actually, when he's born, you actually hit some buttons to control the little baby, like move your head, move your arm, move your arm. I don't know. It's goofy, but it was fun because, like, when have you ever played as a baby in a video game other than this? And I can't think of an example. Maybe like that one video game that came out. What is it? Into the Sleep or whatever. There's a video game where you play as a toddler. It doesn't really matter. And you need to get out of your crib or something. It's supposed to be a horror game. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I thought that was pretty cool. And then Ezio's story actually technically kicks off when you get into the Animus 2.0 and you hop into his shoes as he's about to get into a fight with some, random dude. I don't remember his name. Vieri, I think his name is. You get into this fight with this dude named Vieri, who ends up, his dad works for the main bad guy of the story. But so then you do some preliminary stuff. You get a kind of a feel for Ezio's character, like he's kind of a ladies' man and doesn't really take anything too seriously. And then his dad ends up getting taken, his dad and his brother. Except the thing about it is they were betrayed. So he tells you to go back and get this stuff out of his chest. There's a hidden chest in the house. You use Eagle Vision, you find it. And you're supposed to take these papers to this dude. Well, you take the papers to the dude, and then the next day at the execution, instead of the dude being like, "Oh, they're innocent. Here's the proof," he's like, "There's no evidence. They definitely did it." He's a traitor. It turns out he actually works for the big bad guy. I think his name's Rodrigo, the bad guy, but you don't really deal with him till later. Anyway, this whole thing ensues. Ezio obviously learns to become an assassin. Mario is his uncle. You go stay with his uncle, and that's forgot to mention this during the gameplay section. So there's a place called the Villa, which is your Uncle Mario's place. And one of the mechanics of the game is you fix up the villa, and you know spend money and you upgrade uh, the villa and you upgrade the different shops and you open shops that weren't open and you get discounts and there's other bonuses. You get passive income through it. It's just another cool mechanic. So you go back with your uncle. You follow Ezio through his journey of getting revenge on the people who killed his dad, and then getting revenge on Vieri, and then getting revenge on Vieri's dad, and then you uncover this whole plot that they're planning to become the Pope, and they're getting this apple of Eden, this piece of Eden thing, and they also need the staff, and you have to be the Pope because inside the Vatican, underneath the Vatican, there's this tomb left by the ancient ones, and you uncover this whole plot, and you like take out all these dudes, and it's like a really, honestly, a pretty good story. You follow Ezio's journey on becoming an assassin and taking things more seriously. um, you just get a much better trajectory than you did in the first game. And Ezio is just way more likable, I think, than like Altair was this cocky dude who got knocked down and then had to build himself back up, which was cool. But I do like the steady building up of a character instead of just being like, oh, dude, you were the best. Now you're not the best. Now we're gonna try to make you the best again. I don't know. That's my opinion. I think the story was much better. You end up though, the end of the story, once you get into the vault, it turns out that the ancient ones like lived on the earth before us, and something happened with the sun and it wiped out their civilization, and they left clues behind to try to help. And then like the lady you're talking to during this whole like cutscene, her name's like Minerva, I think it was. She's like this hologram of one of these ancient ones, and she ends up talking directly to Desmond through the Animus, knowing that Desmond's watching this.
And us, but you will comprehend our warning. You must.
None of what you are saying makes sense.
Our words are not meant for you.
What are you talking about? There's no one else here.
And Ezio is like super confused, keeps trying to interrupt, which is like totally on brand for him being Desmond's ancestor because Desmond's always interrupting. Um, but yeah, so she like cuts into it, and then during this whole cutscene, you're like, oh, this is kind of like they're talking to me when really they're talking to Desmond, but like you being the player behind it all. I don't know. It was pretty cool. Um, I think that's all I have to say about the story. I don't want to spoil too much. I think it was really good. I think the story was handled really well in this one, much better than the first one. So now let's move on to the platinum experience. The majority of the trophies in this game are just story trophies. Complete DNA sequence 1, complete DNA sequence 2, enter the Animus, just things that you automatically pop. That's like most of the trophies. A few of the interesting ones were things like, um, throw sand in 5 guards' faces at once, which I just backed myself into a corner and it took like multiple tries, but I ended up getting it done. Um, Killing, I think it was 10 guards without getting hit at all. That one was pretty difficult. It was either 10 or yeah, I think it was 10. I ended up just using the smoke bombs. There's smoke bombs in this game. Dude, there's so many mechanics. I ended up using the smoke bombs to just smoke, and then when they're not paying attention, just assassins blade them all, because they can't like see you or whatever. That's how I got that trophy. Obviously, getting all the tombs, getting all the subject videos, those are all trophies. After you get all the feathers, which getting the feathers, of course, had trophies. After you get all the feathers, you get the Auditore cape, which makes you automatically notorious in any town you wear it in. That one is interesting because that's a trophy. There's a trophy to take the cape into every single city in the game, which obviously makes you have to fight guards when you get there. But that one's a pretty cool trophy. Then there's the Assassin's Tomb stuff. Buying every weapon in the game is one of them, which after you upgrade the villa, not that hard to do. You don't have to max out the villa. I think there's only a trophy for getting it to 70%, but all in all, I'd rate the trophy experience as like a 8.5 out of 10. There was a point where I was getting all the feathers where I missed a couple feathers somehow, even though I was following a guide. Very on par with my Templar situation, where I had to go back through some areas. I did find out that there was a way to see where you were missing flags from, so it wasn't as bad. But yeah, I think that's really it for the trophy experience. It wasn't too bad. And so if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, Slaying the Backlog, me playing the Assassin's Creed games I haven't finished, or me playing some other games that are on my backlog, I'll put the backlog in the description. Please drop a comment. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see more of. Like and subscribe. It just helps the algorithm, help us find more people, find a bigger audience. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm at 215. And I appreciate all of you for watching. Peace.